KXW. If you're hearing the humming in the background, don't fret, don't worry. It's not your headphones. It's not a computer error on your side. It's just this week's Geek of the Week, Emmett Lalish. Dude, first off, we got to let everyone know what the hell's going on in the background here, because you've actually well, I'll start off with, you're an aerospace engineer. And a very, very intelligent man is someone who's doing that sort of stuff. But
you know what? That's astute, Rev.
Yeah, I know.
Anytime you want to tag out and you want someone else to take over.
Hey, Vicky, how about you say something here?
You have an interesting hobby which caught our attention. You do 3D printing. What the hell is that?
Well, it's exactly what it sounds like, although some people seem to imagine making like a holographic print or something like that. But no, we mean 3D like a physical object that you can then pick up and play with.
Now, how did you actually get into that? Like, that's a very interesting hobby, because I like reading. That's kind of boring, but how do you get into 3D printing?
Well, I am an engineer, so I go to conferences and such, and it turns out that this is actually a really big deal in the professional world. So they have big professional versions of these that have been around for maybe 20 years now or so, and they're kind of starting to gain some real traction. And so I went to a conference and saw people printing some pretty amazing stuff, and I was like, that's neat, but I don't want to pay $250,000 for one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, geez. And so you managed to find a place that had a do-it-yourself kit, I guess?
Exactly, yeah. Basically, the patents have run out, and so now this is, something that everyone can enjoy.
Wow. Where'd you find it? Did you just find it online?
Yeah, exactly. So it's this company, MakerBot Industries. They're out of Brooklyn. I actually just visited them a couple of weeks ago.
Wow. So you've just been creating these things. And I know that you've had some international appeal with it. You actually were featured a little bit on the Colbert Report.
Yes, my 5 seconds of anonymous fame.
What did you make exactly?
Well, so basically...
I'm holding it right here, Vicky.
Yeah, I made a Colbert headgears, which is hard to explain, but probably easier to visualize.
And so, but
we'll have a video of this posted.
Yeah, and I'm going to try. We'll have a video of all of this right now. Hot Kyle's taking that. But what it is, this is really cool. It's a bust of the head of Stephen Colbert, but it looks like the bust is comprised of all these gears that have been attached so that you can spin the gears around, and then the head becomes just like this jumbled mass of nothing until you spin it back.
Spinning the face around. It's upside down currently. And
eventually it comes back to its normal state where it does look like Stephen Colbert's head again, all these moving parts. And the amazing thing is that this was created on a printer. And you imagine that you have a computer screen, and just like the typewriter was thrown out the window because you were able to basically take your word processor and what was on the screen, print it to your printer, and it would come out like a typewriter. And then eventually we were able to take pictures and have it as if it was being printed by a silk screen or some sort of printer press. Now you have a picture on your computer screen, a 3D rendering that can then be created by this box, and the box looks like it looks like about the size of maybe a very small microwave, and it creates the 3D block or sculpture or whatever from a picture on your computer. And imagine that you, instead of just being able to print out all the lovely posters for your bake sales and your birthday parties, you go, you know
3D
what?
version of it.
My kid wants a centerpiece on her birthday party of Stephen Colbert's head. And you go, oh, I got a picture of that from the internet. I'll hit print, and it will make these 3D plastic or whatever, at some point. I'm sure you'll be able to make it out of any material in the future. This is amazing technology that we're seeing firsthand, at least in my eyes.
Yeah.
And Emmett is become quite an artist in this world. Well, that's the other thing. He's getting notoriety for his creations with his 3D printer.
I think it's going to, old man, I think it's a little more complicated than that. So what exactly, Emmett, are the steps to create something?
Well, so there's actually a lot of different ways you can do it, which is nice. So, for instance, Stephen Colbert's head was actually a really interesting process because he came in on Monday evening to MakerBot, and they scanned his head with a 3D scanner, which is another new thing that exists now. And so, boom, they have a computerized three-dimensional model of his head. Mm-hmm. They then send that out to a few designers, myself included, to be like, hey, make something cool out of this because we're going to go on his show. So I spend Monday night designing that, and then I send the files back to them. They spend Tuesday printing them out on their own machines. I've never even printed it at that point.
Oh, wow.
And then they go on his show on Wednesday morning and bring it.
So you didn't even get to see your actual creation until it was on the Colbert Report.
Exactly.
Wow, that's got to be kind of frightening because as an artist, and at this point you are an artist, you've created some awesome designs. Do you create your own designs? Like, obviously not the Colbert one, but like when other things that you do you map out all of the designs yourself and then create it using the printer yourself?
Yeah, so all the designs I've brought in here for the show are things that I have designed. I also print out, of course, a lot of things that other people have designed because there's a fantastic number of great artists on Thingiverse, which is where we share our designs for free.
And that's just www.thingiverse.com and just all one word.
Correct.
Cool, man. And you've got your own stuff on there. I saw the website, and I've seen some of the real intricate designs you've done. A lot of gear things you like to create with the gear. Put the gears together and have them kind of rotate and do all the neat little go-arounds. And with that, one of these I've noticed, especially with like the Colbert head, it looks like are all of these parts like all of it created from the machine itself?
So pretty close. With the Colbert head, I did use some standard bolts to attach everything together. And I've started to now get farther into, it's kind of like a personal conquest to see if you can make everything printed and just snap together.
Totally. Everything is just all-inclusive.
It takes a little bit more effort, but it's fun.
Now, BJ, I had Emmett create something for the podcast, and
did you really?
I wanted to be a surprise for you. He also does cookie cutters, and he also did something special for us. So I'm going to pass this to Rev.
All right.
When you say cookie cutters, like to make cookies?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Look at Emmett. See, Emmett is
Check out these two things that he made for us.
Whoa!
What other cookie cutters have you made, Emmett?
Woo!
So for my friend's birthday, I made some airplane cookie cutters. We are, after all, aerospace engineers.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I made a Stegosaurus cookie cutter for my girlfriend.
That is cool. What right now he's made a BJ Shea's Geek Nation logo.
Like a little plaque thingy.
Yeah,
with multiple different colors. It's got the electric green, and it's also got the awesome black with that. It just pops out like that. It's really amazing.
And it's raised, and that's pretty amazing. It's really a copy of our logo, and he was able to put it, on this sort of like, if you will, coaster, like a cup coaster thing that he made. And then he's got a BJ cookie cutter, so I can make BJ cookies, which. Wow. Not the kind you buy at the special bakeries.
Not the kind Vicky is thinking about currently, but...
I'm sorry, we were talking about something else?
This is...
Sorry.
I am so stoked because I remember, you guys don't remember this because, you were either little kids or weren't even born, but I remember the first time I could print without using a typewriter. I didn't have to actually use a typewriter. I could print out multiple copies. Granted, it was that the font was like that old computer-style font.
Yeah, just and it had it was the old, the pieces of paper that had the numbers on the or not the numbers, the holes on the side,
the holes on the spool, and all of that, and it really didn't look. It looked very space age, and it's like, but still, it still was pretty awesome. I remember going, "This is going to be so great when they finally come up with fonts, and it makes it look like it's actually been typed out." And of course, it's gone beyond that. And now, imagine, just what they're going to be able to create, and with people like Emmett, who are going to have the vision and to be able to take their art and transform it into this. There's going to be some beautiful, beautiful artwork created with this device.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I got to take it where I think everyone's wondering, what?
Where's she going?
Has anybody ever asked you to make something like dirty, like maybe a phallic-shaped cookie cutter?
I think you may have actually been the first, Vicky.
Well,
congratulations.
So you're asking like a plaster caster thing, like from the old 60s groupie girls?
How awesome would it be to have? Take a picture and then make...
She's doing the motion. How is she going to do the motion?
Yeah, I know. That's the creepiest thing.
A cookie cutter out of a
she could have done right there.
Thing.
You want to make cookies that resemble your man's action? Is that what you're saying?
Well, it is pretty impressive, and those are big cookies. You'll be full.
Wow, how about that? Well,
Did I just go there?
Emmett,
oh my gosh.
We didn't let Emmett answer the question. Emmett, has anyone ever asked you something that,
disturbing?
Yeah.
As I say, I think Vicky's the first. But to be fair, I haven't had this machine that long, so
How long have you had it?
Probably about 8 months now.
Okay, so it's at this point. Do you feel that your expertise is gaining momentum at this point? Do you how quickly how hard is it? I should say, for someone who got this machine to run and create the awesome Colbert head that you've made.
Well, it all depends on what you want to make and how you want to do it. I mean, you were noticing I tend to make a lot of gears.
Yeah.
And that is, of course, I'm an engineer. I love math. I love all that kind of stuff. if you're not mathy, Gears might not be the easiest place to start. But there's a lot of other things you can do. And something that I just recently learned, actually, was for making your logo, for instance.
Wow.
Vicky sent me your logo as a photo.
Yeah.
And then I used one open source program called Inkscape that allowed me to basically trace that out.
Cool.
And, automatically get the sort of edges of it and turn it into something more geometric. And then brought it into another open source program called OpenSCAD, where I could easily set it up to basically build that shape that you see there.
Nice.
And so those are things that you can definitely do if you just have sort of more of an artistry background as opposed to a technical background. So there's a lot of options.
So I could still do this because I'm horrible at math and all that jazz. He asked me earlier, or he said something that what's the temperature of the machine? How high does it get?
So the tool head where the plastic comes out is at 220 Celsius.
Whoa.
Yeah, and I don't know how
That's
much that
pretty
is.
hot.
That is hot.
How much is that in Fahrenheit? I don't
That's
know.
not in Fahrenheit.
70
I don't know.
million degrees.
Yeah, it's a
That's
lot hotter.
hot.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Probably in the neighborhood of Fahrenheit 451, actually.
There you go. Oh, look at that.
So how about sci-fi relate right there?
Wait, is that from the book?
Yes.
Yes, I know it. I know it.
Yes.
I read part of that book. I still got an A in the class.
Congratulations.
Sorry, had to brag there.
Yeah, you and Cliff Notes can take a lot of credit for that.
Actually, quick side note, I had a girlfriend. I didn't read the last few chapters, and I asked her what the hell happened 2 seconds before the test started. I got an A. Just saying. I'm pretty good.
You're
Congrats.
lucky she wasn't a jerk and said, Spock died.
Oh,
And you put down, it was so bad when Spock died. Yeah, Vicky, you get an F.
Well, Emmett, again, we noted that you were on Thingiverse. Again, it's just thingiverse.com/Emmett, E-M-M-E-T-T, and they can see all your work, correct?
Indeed, yeah. Not just the things I've designed, but also the things I've printed of other people's and stuff that I like.
Nice. And so there's just a ton of people there that have done the same things that you've done, correct?
Yeah, I mean, there's probably thousands of designers on there by now, and there's just new designs coming out every day.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for being this week's Geek of the Week, man.
Thanks.
yay.
The BJ Shea Morning Experience on 99.9 KISW.